On this week's show, Aidan Duffy and Brittany's son report to us from Hill Weekend, and Lawrenceville responds to Election Day. Lawrenceville's 10-minute newscast begins right now. From the studios inside the Lawrenceville School's historic Pop Hall, this is a special election edition of L10 with Ghael, Fobes. Hello and welcome to this week's show. Last week, Lawrenceville celebrated its 4th annual Big Red Giving Day, an event originally created by the Alumni and Development Office to raise funds for the school. Over the course of the day, Lawrenceville raised over $1.5 million, setting a new record for the event. On Wednesday morning, 6th Fifth formers signed NCAA National Letters of Intent to college athletic programs. Congratulations to lacrosse players Toby Bergdorf, Brendan Egan, Riley Fletcher, and Chloe Jones, rower Sydney Sokovic, and track runner Michael Troop. Also on Wednesday, the Hutchins Scholars, as well as students who have conducted independent studies, presented their research in the Kirby Maffin Science Center. Each student made a poster and gave a brief presentation about their findings. Last Friday, Lawrenceville held its annual bonfire pep rally to kick off Hill Weekend. Our sports reporter, Brittany's son, was on location to bring us an update on the event.
I'm here at the annual bonfire. It's the official start of Hill Weekend. Fall sports teams got called up and captains introduced members by their nicknames. Laurentians also enjoyed hot chocolate and cookies. What are you excited about Hill Weekend?
Oh, Hill Weekend. I'm so excited to see Big Red teams dominate in sportsmanship, athleticism, and goal scoring all day long.
What's the best part about the bonfire?
Ooh, the bonfire, I would say boys water polo kind of stole the show with their synchronized dance movements. They were pretty good.
We're really excited to see all our schoolmates and our fellow athletes come together and cheer.
What's the best part about the bonfire?
Yeah, so the best part about the bonfire actually is the camaraderie of it all. We all come out here, see our friends. There's a big fire.
What's the best part about Hill Weekend?
The bonfire is really nice, seeing the varsity teams and seeing the Woodhull House doing their dance, and also the camaraderie.
Lawrenceville athletes and spectators seemed pumped up and ready to go.
Thank you, Brittany. On Saturday, dozens of Laurentians competed in athletic contests against Hill. Our senior sports correspondent, Aidan Duffy, traveled to Hill to bring us a report on the games.
Thanks, Ghael. Tradition meets competition as Lawrenceville and Hill square off for the 129th time.
On the cross-country course, both boys and girls dominated. In the boys' race, Sam Noden and Elias Sounder took first and second respectively, while Jesse Brewer claimed first in the girls' race. Big Red football had a thrilling game which ended 28-18 in favor of Big Red.
I'm here with head coach Flaherty. So, Coach, great game today. It was scary at times, especially in that end of the fourth quarter. What'd you tell your guys going into that?
Well, fortunately for us, we had faced a lot of adversity all season. So the adversity that we faced in the second half was really nothing new. And I think that character is revealed not when things are going well for you, but when things are difficult, okay, and the breaks aren't going your way. And so what we preach to our guys all the time is taking it one play at a time, no matter the circumstances. And our guys did that. And it came in especially handy in a situation like this where there was chaos, there were things going wrong, okay. As you mentioned, it was a scary game at some points, but I don't think our guys ever felt any panic. I don't think our guys ever were scared because they trusted their technique and they trusted their teammates. And as I said, it's been a season of ups and downs. It's been a rough one at times, but our seniors and our postgraduate leadership really propelled us through the end of the year, and we had guys that stepped up and made plays in big situations.
On the turf, Hill managed to fend off boys varsity soccer despite some very close calls in the 1-0 loss. Boys junior varsity soccer was a different story as they managed a 1-0 win with a goal from sophomore Liam Garcia-Quish. In their Maple Championship game against Hill, Big Red varsity field hockey suffered a devastating 3-2 loss. On the junior varsity side, the two teams tied 1-1.
Spirits were high as all teams competed well today. From Hill Weekend, I'm Aidan Duffy.
Thank you, Aidan. On Tuesday evening, Lawrenceville held multiple presidential election watch parties across campus. Our executive producer, Chisom Ilogu, senior features and arts correspondents Toby Ilogu and Adia Weaver attended these events to bring us the story.
Thanks, Ghael. During our lunch periods today, both students and faculty members participated in a mock election led by club director Will Fournier. So, Will, what inspired you to put this event together?
Well, I thought it would be really interesting to hopefully identify if our campus has a certain preferred candidate for the presidency, and hopefully be able to identify political leanings of our community, trends, differences within certain demographics. So, yeah.
And also, why do you think it's important for Lawrenceville to be having and participating in events like this?
Well, I think the most important thing is to be informed and know what your community is like. So being aware of your community and certain, biases or whatever that may exist within it, I feel like that's very important in order to, be able to understand your peers and have intelligent, hearkened conversations.
So, Mr. Alcanzar, why do you think that it's important to have these mock elections within a community like Lawrenceville?
I believe that every time that you have the chance to poll the community to see where we stand for, it's always positive. Polling their students to see where they stand, and they're talking about issues, and it's important. I mean, every time that you have the chance to raise your voice and cast a ballot. I mean, our founding fathers fought a revolution for this, and I think it's really important to honor them and honor the sacrifice.
So why do you think it's important for a community like Lawrenceville to be holding events like these?
So students at Lawrenceville have a lot of opinions. We're a community based on communication and interaction. So I think that allowing students to express their opinion encourages the dialogue and feel like they're a part of both Lawrenceville community and the greater community in the world in the United States.
After tallying up the votes, Lawrenceville's 2016 mock election resulted as follows: 15 votes for Gary Johnson, 64 votes for Donald Trump, and 218 votes for Hillary Clinton.
I'm here in the Healy Room tonight on election night, where about 30 students have gathered to view the CNN projections of the 2016 presidential election. So we've had presentations from a couple of student groups, and club leaders have come up to talk about various factors of the election, from what exactly the Electoral College is to previous wacky elections. We're going to take a lap around the room and see if we can get some student comments from tonight. I'm here with Bree, a member of the class of 2018. So Bree, what's the atmosphere like in the room tonight?
We're all really anxious. We want to really see who's going to be the next president.
I'm here with history master Mrs. Hyson. So Mrs. Hyson, what's the atmosphere like here tonight?
We're surprised there aren't more people, I'll be honest, because the debates, we had almost 100 people coming to every one of the debates. But I think it's because there's no homework tomorrow, and so all the houses are watching the debates, watching the returns, which I think is a great thing, that as long as the whole campus is watching it, I don't care where they're watching it,
I'm here in Upper, where the fifth form is hosting a viewing party for this year's election. What has been the atmosphere like here in this room while you've been watching the election?
This room? I mean, people seem like they're pretty happy, but also I can tell there's a lot of tension because people are low-key scared. This is a very close race so far. So honestly, I don't think anyone knows what's gonna happen. So it's very exciting, but for some also very concerning.
There's so many people here. There's food, there's snacks, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, everyone's really excited, having a good time. We're really hyped.
People are intrigued and interested to find out who the next president will be, but I think everyone's happy and definitely involved.
And some of them have very valid and very passionate viewpoints on both sides. But it's interesting to when you see them clash.
People have really strong opinions for the most part, and they really like to talk about them.
I think that the school's doing a lot to keep us involved with the election and just understand everything that's going on. So I think it's been a really great opportunity, and I'm glad that it happened my senior year.
It's not just an American election. This is just as important for me as it is American citizens.
Thank you, Chisom, Adia, and Toby. We were not entirely sure how we were going to put this week's show together following the election. We had originally planned to bring you a segment from the Young Democrats' field trip to the Jacob Javits Center, where Secretary Clinton was expected to deliver her Election Day remarks. Somehow, in designing this week's show, we let our certainty, and I let my bias tell me that it was okay to present one side of this enormously complex story. It is not. We messed up because we did not recognize the other side, in much the same way that our country remains divided for failing to understand the other side. Regardless of the victor of this election, it is abundantly clear that we have deep and serious divisions in our country. We may overlook these divisions at Lawrenceville. I can tell you that we certainly did on our editorial board. But just because we may not see those divides, it does not mean they do not exist. They do. And odds are that we go to classes play sports, or live with people who do not support the same candidate or causes. We may have been afraid to share our concerns, but we may have also been scared to listen as well. We've realized as an editorial board that it is so crucially important for us to learn from this election, to listen without the intention of persuasion. As aspiring journalists, we want to cover as many sides of the story as we can. Likewise, as members of this community, we want to understand as many perspectives as possible. And for that to happen, we need you to be open to share. It is hard and deeply personal at times. For many of us, our politics are indistinguishably linked to our identities. But as a community, we must try to be compassionate and eager to understand the experiences, the fears, and the hopes of those around us. We guarantee you they're not too different from your own. That is our show for Friday, November 11th, 2016. From all of us here at L10, thank you so much for a great term, and best of luck on your finals. Good night.